All right, so today we're looking at standard deviation, which is the third type of a measure of spread. What are the other two measures of spread we've already met? Range and interquartile range. So this is the third one. It is a... Oliver, I asked you to stop. It is a more accurate measure of spread because it looks at every single score and it actually measures the average distance of each score from the mean. The actual formula to calculate it is very complicated and we don't even look at it, okay? We just use our calculator. We use a Greek letter sigma, which is like this O with a little flick at the end, to represent standard deviation. On your calculator, in statistics mode, you will see the sigma as when we get to the example. There is technically two types of standard deviation. One's called the population standard deviation, and one's called the sample standard deviation. We only look at the population standard deviation. On your calculator, it's the one with the sigma, the other one has an S. If you have a different sort of calculator, rather than the standard one, you might have sigma n for standard deviation for a population and sigma n minus 1. Do not use the n minus 1, you just want to use the sigma n. So sigma with an n is the one you're going to look for. Our calculators, if you've got the standard school one, has the other one as an S, so it's pretty easy not to get confused, but some of the other brands use different symbols. Alright, so standard deviation measures our spread. The smaller the standard deviation, the closer the scores are together. Okay? So let's look at how we actually do it. So say I've got this lovely list here of numbers and frequencies, and we want to calculate the standard deviation. So we're going to use our calculators. What do I need to do first? I need to be in what? I need to be in statistics mode. So I'm going to select mode 2 to get into statistics. Once I've got this screen up, remember I always want to choose one var. And I've got score and frequency. Remember, if you don't have a frequency column, you have to press shift to get into setup, go down statistics and turn frequency on. Okay, so just a reminder how to do that. Shift setup, go down to statistics and make sure your frequency is on. Once you've got it there, you just put your numbers in. So what is it? 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, and 53. Oops, stuffed that one up. Get back up. Why am I not getting back up? Why is that not working?
Oh, are we supposed to put it in like the frequency? No. Can we put the frequency on the other side?
Yeah.
Cool.
For some reason that one entered a bit weirdly. 52, 53, is that far we're going? And then we go to the frequency column. And we add in the frequency column. So what have we got? 10,
45.
45.
You haven't
Ah,
I can't find the shift button.
you got it? 45, 52, 39, 5. Now once we have all our data in, ice this way, thanks guys. Once our data's in, remember we need to go out of that screen before we start doing calculations. It's just a bit weird that way. So once it's all entered, we press all clear. That does not clear our data. It just clears it from the screen. It still remembers, it's still in its memory. We're just not seeing it on our screen. So we want to do some calculations on it. So this little statistics above the 1 button, we want to get there. So we're going to press shift and then 1, and it gives us a whole lot of options. We're choosing number 4 because we're calculating some variables about it. So var here, variables, choose number 4. Now we've got 4 things there. N is the number of scores. X bar, we've already met X bar before, it's the mean. This is the new one, sigma X, that is the standard deviation for a population. This last one, SX, that's we don't use that one. That's standard deviation for a sample. We are not going to use that one. We'll only be using number 3 with the sigma on it, so it should be easy to remember. So if I press number 3 and then press equals, and I find that the standard deviation for this set of scores, so sigma, is 2 decimal places, 1.13. So that's quite a small standard deviation because we can see the numbers were all very clumped together. We had 45, 52, 39. Most of the scores were very close together, giving us a very small standard deviation. Okay, so they were very consistent. Yep.
So say if you were like 3 standard, I know there's like a word, like 3 things of the standard deviation, you'd be really good.
Yeah, so if the closer you are, so if you're 3, you're talking about Z scores, we're going to get there later,
Okay.
but the more standard deviations you are above the score, the better you've done.
Yeah.
Okay, we will look at that later.
Okay.
Yeah, because the standard deviation gives us a lot more information about the data than just our average.
Yeah.
Because if we're 2 above the average and the standard deviation was 1.13, that's good. That means I've got a lot of people were below me. But if my standard deviation was 12 and I'm only 2 above the mean, that's not awesome. That means that a lot of people were still a lot higher than I was. Okay? So that standard deviation gives us a lot more information than just the mean on its own, or even the range, which only looks at the highest and lowest score. This takes into account every score, so it's a lot more information. All we're going to look at for this lesson is just practicing finding the standard deviation. Next lesson, we're going to practice using it and interpreting it. So we're just going to practice that on our calculator. Page 424 has got some questions. We're going to do 1, 3, 5, 7, just the odd questions.